Right. Hey, welcome back, guys. All right, so Taurians, let's take a little peek and we're going to say, as far as Taurus goes, how do they see Taurus right now? Whoever they may be in this fictional story. Also, just FYI, guys, tomorrow, the 13th of October, I will be going live on both channels and doing some fictional storytellings for subscribers and members just to say thank you again, you guys, for being amazing and being a part of my world. We have a Ten of Swords, we have a Three of Cups, we have a Five of Cups. How they see Taurus is possibly, maybe this is wishful thinking, but they're like, Taurus walked away from me. Taurus is out there doing their own thing, but Taurus is missing me. They got to be missing me right about now. Maybe they feel like they know Taurus really, really well, and they're like, I know at a certain time, because timing has something to do with this since we have Big Ben here visible in London. Got Temperance, we have got the Knight of Pentacles. Okay, so if somebody is moving forward, and they're saying, what I realize is there's a whole lot of energy of, I'm sure Taurus would be missing me. And yet, even if they're missing me, they've moved on. I can see them as somebody who's hurting, unless this is somebody who's like, I know Taurus has ended another connection, and I can still see that some days they're good and they're really moved on, and other days they miss whoever they walked away from. Maybe this isn't the person that Taurus walked away from. If they are, they're kind of full of themselves, I have to be honest. If this is somebody else, where it's like, I know Taurus walked away from a connection, and some days I see them good, laughing, loving their life. And then other days I see that moment, of a shadow cross their face, or a song comes on, and it's like, maybe it's somebody who like works with Taurus in an office. So they know, the more time I think we spend around somebody, the more we see their idiosyncrasies, the more we see the moments that they're struggling, or the more it's like we're attuned to what their norm is. And we know some of the tidbits about what's, the big things that have happened in their life. And then we see them on a day-to-day, and we kind of pick up like, I think that they're struggling today. Oh, I see that flicker of pain. Oh, I see that they hurt a little bit today. I see that. And it just showed up to me. I can see that. But day by day, I also see Taurus getting happier. I see them reclaiming like overall, I see the rise in Taurus. I see not every day are they happy, but overall, I see Taurus making this tremendous progress toward a sense of peace. I see them smiling more. I see them being more active. Who is this person who is paying attention to Taurus's like behaviors? Four of Swords, somebody that Taurus is not speaking to. Okay, so hang on. Why are you keeping tabs on Taurus? Let's ask that. Nine of Wands, Emperor in the reverse. Okay, so my first message on this, where I was like, God, this person seems arrogant. If they're like, Taurus walked away from me, but I know they're missing me by now. Well, we could stick with the arrogant comment, because an Emperor in the reverse does feel very, like, even if you're not mine, somehow you're still kind of mine, because once upon a time you were mine. So I'll always remember like you wanted me, and I'll always kind of believe that you still want me. Even if we're not talking, I know I'm the one you can't forget kind of vibe. That, an Emperor in the reverse can be very full of themselves. They actually are still paying attention to Taurus because they actually are missing Taurus. But they're trying to flip the script and be like, I know Taurus is missing me. But it's like to maybe make themselves feel better is maybe what I would suggest here. They would like to feel better. We're going to go for this deck that I just uncovered there too in just a second. Anything else on this? The reason that you're spying or paying attention to Taurus. High Priestess in the reverse. It's like they're trying, especially right now, maybe they're trying very hard to convince themselves, like, I know that Taurus misses me, maybe specifically because they actually see Taurus getting happier every day. And it's like, but they really still miss me, even if they're filling their life with other positive things and they're getting more peaceful. It's almost like maybe this is that knee-jerk reaction where it's like they couldn't possibly be about to get over me, right? I have to remind myself that sometimes I see what I think is a flicker of them being sad over me. It feels like maybe they're starting to have a little bit of self-awareness that they are the ones who are actually, I mean, come on, they're the ones as the searchlight here. They're the ones trying to find some hope for this connection, or they're the lighthouse. There's definitely a loneliness to this person, but they want to keep telling themselves, I can see Taurus doing good, but then I still see them missing me. But then I see them getting happier all the time and getting really balanced, and I see this new vision of them. And in truth, it's me that's missing Taurus. I do think that they're starting to have some self-awareness about this. Why are you not just still interacting with Taurus? We have got King of the Cups upwards, the King of the Cups. We have the World sideways. We have the Nine of Pentacles sideways. In this, we could talk about maybe timing. We could talk about them maybe thinking that they wanted to be single, if there was a question mark of whether or not they were going to be ready to be with Taurus. Maybe it was like, hey, if we're not getting married pretty soon, if you still want to be single, then you need to go, or I need to go. It said at the beginning, they say, I know Taurus walked away from me, but Taurus is sad over me. And this would explain it if they're saying, well, I was still wanting to be single, and Taurus put, an ultimatum on it where it's like, look, if we can't be in a serious commitment by this date, then I'm out. Now, it could be that two people are together and Taurus is like, look, if we, couldn't make this more serious by a certain date, then I was out. The thing is, they do love Taurus for what it's worth. This person who still seems to be like commitment, specifically marriage, is hard for them, or expression of emotions is really hard for them. I mean, I don't love the fact that they're an Emperor in the reverse at all. The fact that they desperately want to believe Taurus misses them, loves them, even though they can see Taurus getting better day by day and feeling, kind of like less connected to them, but they still want to believe you. Okay, why the World card sideways there? Sorry, my tummy's growling. We have a 10 of Wands upright. Again, like, I think the stress relief from this came with saying, okay, we're going to close the cycle. Maybe for a minute they even felt relief, like, okay, now the pressure isn't on me of like, what are we going to do? How serious is this commitment going to get? Are we turning this into a serious long-term commitment? It almost feels like they wavered between saying, okay, well, if this is going to be a wrap, it almost feels like a relief, but then it doesn't, because they don't want to lose Taurus. It's like this is kind of somebody who wanted their cake and eat it too. They love Taurus, but maybe they weren't able or ready to be very giving. Maybe they just have like a selfish quality to them, even if they love Taurus. But it was almost a relief that something has to change. But then they're kind of hyper-focused on the fact that what changed is Taurus left. And they still keep trying to say, yeah, but Taurus misses me. They do. Character, what are you thinking about? Because it seems like you can see Taurus getting happier. Okay, so they're saying slowly but surely, either Taurus will come back to me with that Knight of Pentacles. That would be Taurus. It's going to ride back to me. 3 of Cups. In the meantime, maybe I'll just dilly-dally with a few other people, and that'll take my mind off Taurus until Taurus comes back. That's not going to happen. You deep down know it. 6 of Wands, 4 of Wands. That's not going to happen. I'm sorry, in this fictional story, please remember they are fictional. This person tells themselves these totally different potential storylines to alleviate the fact that they miss Taurus and that they don't really see Taurus missing them. They see Taurus getting over them. So then they recreate another story in their head of how Taurus will come back, and it will be really nice, and it will be awesome and excellent, and Taurus will be jealous because I will have met somebody else. Hell, maybe I'll be famous. Maybe I'll have so much money by then. Maybe Taurus will beg me to be their partner. Maybe I'll even have married somebody else, and Taurus can be sad over me. It almost feels like this person tells themselves these whoppers of what potentially will happen on down the road when Taurus comes back. But here's the first thing that I don't think that they're really telling themselves the truth about. This whole story feels very like we're in the head of a fantasist on this tale. We're in the mind of a fantasist who's trying to like not be sad over the fact that they can see Taurus left. Taurus looks like they're doing great, and they don't want to imagine that it's over, even though they know this. But maybe this is their cope, this is their cope. Let's take a look just here at Taurus. Where's Taurus at in all of this? Temperance and the Devil. There's a sense of peace, even though there's also a sense of huge, upheaval, and, to have a sense of peace and say, I did get over the fact that this was a very toxic situation. This is somebody who, maybe there was always like lust for money instead of finding, balance in life. I don't know. I think Taurus said either this person was easily puppeted by things that could boost their ego. Five of Swords. I don't feel like Taurus is mad at this person at all. I think Taurus is like, I send them so much like compassion. I know that they were struggling to find power. And I'm going to say power because the one thing that an Emperor in the reverse desperately wants is power. They want to feel empowered. They want to feel like they have power. Even them saying, I know Taurus still wants me. And by the time Taurus comes back, because I'm sure they'll come back, they're going to want me, but other people will too. And here's this storyline of how I'm super awesome, and Taurus will see how awesome I am and how much they want me. Once again, later down the road. I would say this is them trying to tell themselves a story of I'm very special. And that's because they need to feel special. And I think Taurus is like, I have a lot of compassion for this person. But the conflicts that we had because of that, I'm not staying. I'm going to walk away from this because you can't be the person who needs to be number one and not give anything in return. Because it keeps feeling like this person didn't want to turn a relationship into something more serious. I don't know why, because they actually, out of anybody on this earth, they actually loved Taurus more than anybody else. But they still acted like they needed to be single. I don't know if that was to show Taurus how desirable they were. So Taurus could always want them and show how much they wanted them. I feel like this is a person who only felt desirable if somebody else was longing for them. Maybe that's their MO. They always need other people to stare at them, to ogle them, to want them, to crave them. Maybe that is how they feel worth. And I think Taurus knows that about this particular story, this particular character. And it's like, they're always going to crave like recognition when in fact I would have, just simply straightforwardly cared about them. But that's just not where they're at. That's not what they recognize as an act of love or an expression of love. So it feels like that's why this thing didn't work. I don't see Taurus hanging on or clinging to this memory of this person. I think Taurus read them pretty well. And this is one of those situations where it's like Taurus just has compassion for them. And they actually feel much more balanced having walked away from this. That's what I would say in this one. Sorry, I know it's a little bit blunt. Sometimes we get those, but it's not intended to be rude. It was just what we had on this. All right, I'm going to leave this here. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. Thanks for giving it a thumbs up and subscribing. And I will see you guys tomorrow as we go live and do some fictional storytellings for subscribers and members on Monday. All right, bye for now.